Hello and welcome to HMG Spotlight. I'm here with Krishnan Chellakarai. Krishnan is the CISO for Gilead Sciences. Krishnan, great to have you here, and congratulations on the recent recognition as being an HMG Global Leadership Institute Large Cap CISO of the Year.
Thank you, Hunter, and thanks for recognizing me and also having me on this interview.
Krish, you've had an amazing career. Tell us, where did it start and a little bit about the build to where you are today?
Yeah, so I actually started as an application developer initially, and I worked in different industries. Like I worked in, hotel industries, I worked in banks, I worked in hospitals, right? And eventually I get to work in life sciences and pharmaceutical companies, right? For me, it was very advantageous to work in all the different industries. So I learned a lot through this process, right? It was also very critical for me to actually build the right foundation to kind of build up my technical kind of stature in working through different companies. And it was important for me. I got a break around in 1998, a critical early position that was focused in typical finance, right? Where I had a chance to build an enterprise solution to integrate, public key infrastructure like smart card solutions into a foreign exchange solution, right? So that, which actually was my starting for cybersecurity, and try to build that cybersecurity into their product. At the time, I had no idea how the field of cybersecurity would actually kind of, take off, and where I would actually eventually lead or go, and so it was something I was exploring that in that context. So I began to think, more seriously about leadership, and with a lot of the experience that I've gained over the years, I thought I could contribute a lot more at that level by bringing everything that I knew from day-to-day work and understanding building cybersecurity into the products and things like that, and also I can expand and build capabilities that can meet business needs and meet also employee needs for the organization.
Krish, what are some other things that really influence your leadership style?
Yeah, so first I think thinking about from a business context, business understanding different business requirements and things like that. That actually kind of comes in as a big part. More in terms of like taking in different organizations, understanding the cybersecurity requirements and how you can actually model for that each businesses, right? I think that comes as a part. I had to learn a lot through that, right? For me, it's more important is to say it's okay to learn from your failures, right? And you have advantages to pivot and consider new solutions, right? And that actually gives us new opportunities as well, right? At all times, I kind of kept track of all over the years what I learned, and I try to apply the learnings into my next job and build that over the years as well. Naturally, I try to make sure I don't forget, or also have a principle of not repeating the mistakes that I've done over the years. Those are some of those important lessons learned for me. In my role at Gilead, I've tried to build an environment that offers opportunities for employees and to pivot as well, to take new challenges and to learn new things within the company, right? And also make sure that they rather kind of, instead of moving to another job, why can't they try to build learnings within the organization itself, right? That builds a strong workforce that is committed and being creative, hardworking and confident employees. That in the long run is actually good for building a strong team for the company.
Krish, team matters, building a culture matters. Talk to us about your style in building a world-class team.
Yeah, so it's actually more important kind of giving the team the space because folks are looking at their career growth development, right? If you give them a mundane job which they are not interested in doing it, right, they can get the same thing in other organizations. So you need to actually kind of how you give them the space and encourage them. For me, I think one of the big aspects that comes in being self-aware, to be a good leader, where you can actually also encourage your employees to be self-aware as well, right? Self-awareness actually takes effort, right? But in the long run, it actually pays a lot for you, right? It also allows for me to grow, and also it actually allows the team grow. I encourage individuals to know what their strengths are, and also actually they have to introspect and ask themselves to say, what else can I do, right? I like when people take that learnings and the feedback, and then when they incorporate that, and also trying to put their hands up to learn, take on new challenges, right? That actually enhances what they know and how and what they create and how they produce as well. This actually takes time, and I always encourage people to have patience, right? Give yourself time, so don't rush into things. I want others to experience the impact that comes over the time, right? By improving and then without not giving up. People actually need to be very honest about themselves to say, you know what, I'm ready to push myself. I understand my own learnings, and I try to apply that, right? So that those are some of, as a leader, I use that as a guidance that I provide to others so that they can explore and improve.
It's a tough time. Cyber is so critically important in the boardroom and the C-suite. When you think about success, what does success look like for you and your team?
Yeah, so maybe I can kind of talk about in two aspects. One, I think, from a cybersecurity perspective, it's a simple answer. No news is a good news, right? So if there is nothing happening in your world, which is the best part to be in, right? It is also fair to say that we cannot prevent everything that's happening, but what we can do really is actually how we prepare ourselves to respond, right? Readiness is driven by a lot of different things. One of them is actually having a capable team, right? Where they can actually anticipate, confront, and also solve problems. And they're thinking out of the box, right? So making sure the team is ready for it, I think it's an important aspect. In my work, I build capable teams and ensure that they are empowered to do their jobs, right? And then I have the technical aptitude and the depth. So whenever the team comes to me for help, I'm able to guide them. But then at the same time, they are also able to bring in new ideas. They are the key pillars in the organization to make everything work as well. As an organization, we measure ourselves to ensure that how are we performing and how are we defending against the threats. How we can actually improve. Constantly learning and improving, and to ensure that we have the right level of controls is important.
The C-suite, the board, and the CEO need you more than ever in a safe and secure enterprise. How do you engage with the C-suite, the CEO, and the board?
Yeah, it's similar with most companies, right? Cybersecurity is definitely one of the top business risks, and we have a full support from our executive team. We have actually, extended or kind of, evolved in our governance model where we used to meet with the board annually. Now we're actually meeting quarterly, right? And the quarterly meeting actually creates an opportunity for us to have a frequent discussion with the board and the leaders. And it's like a two-way conversation, right? I'm transparently sharing with them what I'm doing, what I'm actually preparing the organization, controls that I'm implementing, or processes that I'm putting in place to prevent, to keep the distractions away for the business, right? At the same time, I also ask for the board itself to say, are they hearing the right things from what I'm presenting to them? What's actually on top of mind for them, right? What's really kind of, what else that they're not hearing from me? So having that open, transparent conversation actually helps a lot, right?
Krish, people really want to know what you're most passionate about, what your why is.
Yeah, so my why and the underlying motivation, it's always about, care about the people in the organization, right? I want them to succeed and drive cybersecurity forward and their personal career forward as well, right? I care about bringing and keeping talented people in cybersecurity. People make the difference, and they actually help us to drive our success, right? The passionate about diversified workforce is an important aspect as well. A more diverse workforce can actually better ourselves to bring in new ideas and new perspectives, right? As an example, as a way of doing, I formed a nonprofit organization called Next Gen Cyber Talent early in 2020. And the main focus of the nonprofit organization is to provide a platform for underserved, underprivileged, and diverse talent to start their career in cybersecurity, risk and compliance. I'm privileged where I am in my career, right? I believe that it's time for us to give back and bring others through this journey, right? In the nonprofit organization itself, we have about close to 400 diverse candidates so far as part of the program. that actually helps them to get hands-on experience in different cybersecurity technology products, right? And get them to diversify into different domains, right? Could be network security, could be platform security, could be identity and access management, and also gives them access to be joining our mentorship program. And we also have something in terms of providing grants for them to take on some cybersecurity courses and things like that. The overall goal for this organization is to provide, kind of a North Star for us is to provide a no-cost 4-year college degree for folks in cybersecurity that are not able to go to college, right? Or they don't actually have the financial backing to go to college, and to help with them in those situations as well. I constantly ask myself, what else can I do for the company, for myself, and as well as for the industry itself at large.
In this ever expanding innovation cycle we're at, and ever expanding attack threat surface that you have to protect, what excites you most? What technologies and where are you focused in now?
Yeah, so there are a lot of many things that excites me for me in the field, but the top of mind for me is I'm very excited about our journey becoming one of the first companies to go completely passwordless, right? We are well on the journey now. The journey actually, wouldn't be possible without a lot of interactions or a lot of aspects in it, like bringing in the combination of technology, the combination of security tools, right, and also the bringing the better end user experience for our end users, right. It's also actually kind of bringing a new approach where security and user experience are always been two extremes. How we can strive in between is a balance, right? So this initiative actually gives us that. We are in cybersecurity, want to make sure that technology succeeds, and then we see the users have a good experience, all with greatly strengthening the cybersecurity and maturity itself. But one of the big aspects in order for you to be successful in this journey is to make sure we invest time in organization change management, right? And then which is like bring the technology in terms of communication, the tools, and the support thing. If you don't bring the organization along with that, it will be very difficult for us to be successful. In general, I always get excited when I'm actually trying to solve new challenges, right? New technology trends or things like that that's coming up. That always keeps me motivated. And it also gives me opportunity to continuously learn and excel in cybersecurity as well.
Speaking about new technologies, Krish, how do you find new technologies, new companies that might help you in your enterprise roadmap?
Well, first of all, I think, it's a continuous, like there are the threats and industry trends are coming up. So we need to be exploring what we need to do. Like example, generative AI and ChatGPT, we need to figure out how can we kind of use that technology within our own operations, or if somebody actually not using those type of technology properly, what are the guardrails that you need to build, right? So it's kind of looking at the new trends and new threats that's coming up, new regulations maybe. So you need to look at is there a gap and how do you solve that? At the same time, you also need to continuously evolve by looking at solutions that you put in place already. Is it actually sustaining very well? Are there gaps in that solution that you need to actually take actions to build, right? You shouldn't actually wait and just say, okay, I already have a solution. Is it really being effective or not? So understanding the gaps in those technologies and continuously evolve, right? Sometimes it comes through in terms of consolidation, right? You don't need to have 5 different tools actually doing each of individual capabilities. I can go to one tool where the 5 capabilities can come together. So those things actually like kind of part of the roadmap we evaluate and then understand where the gaps are and continuously improve. Sometimes we do our own testing and and then those testing actually will introduce some gaps as well. So that actually helps us to build and enhance our roadmap.
Krish, you've had an amazing career, great interview here. Leave us with some parting thoughts. What really matters for you most?
For me, I would say, as I talked about in this interview, like, be self-aware and, continue to ask yourself, what else can you do for the organization or for yourself? Continue to learn always, bring in new skills and anticipate new threats or new trends that's coming up, right? And prepare the organization to confront and solve difficult problems for the business, right? And then challenge yourself. Don't be afraid to pivot and try new ideas and things like that. Combination of everything that you put together with all of these things that I talked about actually will continue to help you to have a fulfilling life, and also positively influence the organization and the work environment that you're in.
Krish, once again, congratulations on being an HMG Global Leadership Institute large cap CISO of the year. We're thrilled to have you part of our program, part of the Institute, and congratulations.
Thank you, Anta. Thanks for having me.